Welcome back. So starting out the week, last round of sanding and prep and masking and all that sort of good stuff on the fuselage in preparation for giving it another coat of primer. And then you can see all the different places there where the shrinkage from the post-cure on the foam core there, created that sort of textured kind of finish that, fortunately just sands out just with the primer. But it's definitely an issue we have to sort out going forward. I'm not sure why it does that, but anyway, Jeff's jumped on and already put a coat of primer there on the doors after getting those ready, and they may need, or they're probably going to have another coat on there as well, because they were totally floated. And so here's Jeff actually putting down the first coat of primer there on the fuselage. Got everything masked up and the last sanding done, and even got the gear doors put on so they can get sort of painted in place, and the lower extensions for the gear doors on the main gear doors, I got those put in, and just a bungee cord holding them shut right now, and I've got my little mechanism sorted out for closing that lower part of the door, but just haven't had a chance to get to it yet. I've got to make some brackets and also a little bell crank and a connecting rod, and then a little mounting point on the door itself. But as you can see, Jeff's up there on the table and laying down the primer, so it's pretty satisfying seeing this after all the hard work and getting the fuselage to the point of where it is. And as quickly as Jeff's spraying it, Devon's keeping him topped up there with another batch, as quickly as he can. So, because it's a two-part primer system, so as it gets low there, Devon mixes up another batch. And here he is now on the lower side there, and painting there. You can see the main gear doors are shut there. So, yeah, it's looking good. We didn't paint the whole of the underneath because it was already painted before, but this is what it looks like when it's all done there. So, time to unmask it in the morning. So this was on Monday evening. This is how it finished out. So yeah, looking good, pretty happy. And it's just primer on there, so it's not perfect finish or anything like that, but it's definitely presentable and be good enough for flight testing. And so this is what it looks like the next morning with all the masking removed and the gear dropped down again. So it actually looks like a nice aircraft again. And the nose hatches are going to be painted separately because we wanted to paint the little flanges around there as part of the main spray, and if we had the hatch door on there it would have covered those flanges or the joggles. So the next job up for Jeff now, we've got the doors on, and so Jeff's going to align and bond in these strake extensions that actually affix to the doors themselves. So here he's just just doing a last fitment and getting them aligned as nicely as he can. And Devon's prepping up a few other things there for priming. So he's working on baggage doors and the little parachute closeout, and there's the intake scoop there, and also the nose hatch. And I'm working on sanding on these winglets now. So we've got the guide coat on there, and same on this side. And these have a similar problem with that print through from the shrinkage from the post cure, but not very bad. Just needs mainly a little bit of sanding. There's a few little low spots in there, but really what it comes down to is just taking the big board there with the 80 grit and just running along there, just sanding it there on a 45 and taking it down until the guide coat's gone. And there's, as I said, there's a couple of places there on the wings that need a little bit of fill, just because you're sanding there and you get all around and you really can't get this one spot with a guide coat because it's a low spot for any given reason. So, and then those ones, it may only be 5 thousandths low or something like that, but when using this big sanding block like that, you can't cheat on it. It's going to give you a nice fair surface if you use it correctly. And Jeff's given me some tutelage on how to use it the right way, because I'm no expert on sanding. I certainly don't want to be an expert on sanding. I'm just getting this job done because it needs to get done. But anyway, so This is a bit of back-breaking work when you get down to the lower section there, because you can't sort of sit on the stool and do it. You have to be down on your hands and knees. In this section you can clearly see kind of how there's the print through from the core there affecting that. So yeah, not very much, but definitely would be visible if you just painted, you know, right over the top of that without sanding it out. And so here's the fuselage now with the first of the door strakes there bonded into place, and Jeff's got, you know, a couple little mixing stick sections there just to hold it in place while it all sets up. And here he's moved on to the other side, just getting this one bonded in place, and he's using high sol to bond it to the door. We've got that decent size, you know, inch and a quarter flange on there, so there's plenty of bonding surface area to do that. And here you can see I've moved over onto the other winglet there, and this one was actually a lot better. Didn't really have any of that sort of print through for some reason. I'm not sure why. So it was just a matter of just basically taking the guide coat off here. And yeah, so this one, it's always nice when you get onto the other side or the second one and it goes easier and quicker than the first one, because you kind of look at how much time it takes you to do one thing, and then you're thinking, oh, it's going to take about that much time again, and sometimes it's worse, the second one around, so it takes longer, and sometimes it's quicker, and this was a case where it was quicker. So the next thing that I had to do on the winglets was, you saw, I think last time or the time before, I'd put these little hard points in the trailing edges there for where the rudders mount to, so it was a bit of core and a layup. Well, on the other side, the side that's facing the camera right now, because of how we did that skin there and how the spar is behind there, the skin on that trailing edge there is actually fairly thin, and again after the post cure it got a little bit of a sort of a wobble in it. It kind of sagged a little bit, so we actually have to do a layup there with some core in that to sort of strengthen it, at the same time clamp a straight edge on there to get it to go straight again, and you'll see that coming up in here in a minute. And in the meantime, Jeff's started on spraying the bottom sides of the wings, so he's doing it in sort of several stages. It'll be the bottom side of the wings first and then the tops tomorrow. And so there's the first one, as I said, with a layup and a straight edge clamped against there. And this is the second one I've just sort of started on there. You can see there's the core in there that I've put in there, but I still have to put the carbon layups in there. And at the end of the day, today Jeff had both the bottoms of the wings there primed. So tomorrow will be tipping the wings over and priming the tops, and then maybe even getting on the winglets done. And as you can see here, also got these other bits done, the nose hatch and the intake scoop, and the baggage door's got another round on there just so they match the same colour. So that's pretty much our update for the first half of this week, and tune in again on Saturday and see how things progress for the remaining part of the week. Thanks again for watching.